Oh boy, Lud said he has no time for this, but guess what? We're going to talk about it anyway. The Stars have clinched a spot in the 2025 Stanley Cup Playoffs. I know, Luds, there's no drama here. This was inevitable, but we can check a box, put an X. This is the DLLS STARS postgame show. Craig Ludwig, Owen Newkirk, Katia Villalba, our producer tonight. Luds, we sent John off to a booze-soaked weekend. We got some thunderstorms at DFW, and the Stars win a hockey game in another way where they probably don't make it look like they're utterly dominating. Does it matter? 5 in a row.
It doesn't matter when the team that you're playing against looks like they're disinterested at times. I think they tried to show that they are trying to win some hockey games, but I just thought Seattle had moments, but there wasn't a ton. And then as the game got a little bit further out of reach, they kind of slowed down a little bit.
Do you think the Kraken, aside from the sort of playing out the string, did you think they looked really sloppy at times tonight?
Yeah, they looked slow. They threw pucks, and I'd like to say it was because of what Dallas was doing, but I don't think it was that. I think that there is a light at the end of the tunnel for these guys, and unfortunately, it's a train. So
it's a summer in a golf tournament.
Yeah, and it's kind of normal when you get into one of those kind of seasons and you've got nothing to look forward to, and you want to think that there's some guys playing for jobs and want to make a good impression that they're not quitting. And the one goal that Adam Larsson had given up to Wyatt, that goal there. I mean, he gets all spun around, he turns the wrong way, and of course Wyatt's a great player, but Adam Larsson's a pretty good player.
He is.
Not on that play.
No. So before we get into our breakdown tonight, our producer, who is Katia tonight, not John, because John is gallivanting around 6th Street down in Austin with a buddy's bachelor party. And boy, Luds, every time we ever get footage from one of his sojourns outside, we know that it's silly because we got the Dirty Dancing lift right at the beginning of our show, basically. I don't know if we're going to get any video from this one, but we sure know that he's going to probably be having some fun, let's say. And I'll tell you this. The reason why I bring this all up is because Kat saw a $100 super chat before the post-game show even started, and she got very excited. As you would expect, we don't sneeze at $100 super chats. She wanted to lead the show with it. And Luds, we had to tell her, this happens all the time on the Stars post-game show. We'll do it on the third segment super chats like we always do.
But we don't get the big ones like this.
We got one on Thursday. It was 101. This is not even our second triple-digit super chat. Remember, we've had a few of them over the months.
I know. We'll have to just let risky business wait.
All right, everybody. Keep those super chats coming in. We can absolutely go Stars After Dark with this one, as we expect. It's coming. Ben just texted me, our GM. He wants to hit that super chat. Don't worry, Ben. We got it. We're rolling. This is what happens here on the Stars.
He wants us to do it. Ben wants us to do it now, too?
He just texted me and said, hit the super chat.
Oh, my gosh. Are you stepping over the top of the guys at the top of the mountain?
How many rounds did he cover you at Cosm? Did he give you more than he promised, which was very little?
Totally honest on, they were coming, and I had no idea where they were coming from. I wasn't asking.
I was going to say, if he over-delivered, I would have said, okay, maybe we should listen to him. But I think we should go on this one because we've got some goals and we've got a fight to talk about here on the post-game show. So let's get right to it. 87 seconds into the game, Luds. Eeli Tolvanen scores. This was an ugly start for the Dallas Stars. They didn't look good. Jared McCann drove to the net after an awful turnover right around their own blue line, and Tolvanen sweeps in on the rebound. Exactly what you should do. Follow the play, go to the net, and it was an easy putback.
Yeah, we've seen this, too often lately, I think, that early goal or a couple good scoring chances. But he's got some speed, and it was, like you said, it was early, and I immediately went, you've got to be kidding me. Is this what's going to happen tonight? But good news is that was probably their their first and their last belief that they could do anything in this game tonight.
The Stars didn't do much, but then Jason Robertson, I would say, I don't want to take away from his hockey vision and IQ here, but he almost buried his head and flung one and did a Hail Mary pass. I'm sure he was more skillful than, but Luds, he gave Rantanen almost a near breakaway. It was a good save by Decord, but the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because he didn't score on it. We're starting to see this every game now, and we'll get more on Rantanen tonight as well. But more connection, more understanding, more I know where he's going to be. I know what you're going to do between Rantanen, Hintz, and Robertson.
Yeah, and I wish that we could have had a clip, and I know we can't play that stuff, but the three of those guys were sitting on the bench, and they had an ISO on them, and Rantanen was sitting in the middle, and they had the iPad out, and Rantanen was going back and forth between the two of them, going, "Yeah, that's right there, yeah." And so. And I'm sure we see one glimpse of that, but it seems to me that they're doing this every time they come back to the bench. And you can see now that Rantanen, I'd said this in the pregame show too, Rantanen on that goal the other night, he's not standing around. He's going to the net. And there's things that are happening now that look like they're starting to become a little bit more, I don't know, just normal for the three of these guys. So it's nice to see. And he is, it seems like every time he's around the puck now, something good is happening.
Look at this one. The championship game said, Mikko didn't hurt anybody tonight. That's a positive. I'll tell you what, Luds, he's a large human being. And once he gets his feet moving, you said he's not fast, but he can get that motor going where he can cover ground quickly. He's got a long stride, powerful. I don't know if you want to stand on the tracks when that train's coming through.
Well, I think where his biggest asset to him, because he's got some quickness right out of the hole. He gets up and he can. It's not like he's like Rupe, but if he's got the quickness to be able to just get the position on the defender or the forward who's trying to get back, because of his massive size, and he cuts in a little bit, it's really hard to do anything to him. Now all of a sudden, whether it's a forward or defenseman, they're on the outside looking out. You know, there was a play tonight that. I'm not even sure what period it was. I think it was in the second period, but it was down on an offensive chance, and it turned over somewhere just below the tops of the circles in the offensive zone. But he was the first forward back into the defensive zone, back to break up a play. So now you can see that his feet are coming around. It's not like he doesn't work at both ends of the rink, because you generally see him down where he's supposed to be.
Yeah. So they tie it. It's Robertson, but it's Robertson with a different line. And this is something we saw all night. Stars went with 11 forwards, 7 defensemen, and it was like the sprinkling of the top line with the fourth line, Robertson here, Hintz here, Rantanen here. Great job by Steele and Bork to set this play up. And Robo had one of the easier tap-ins on a rebound. The whole net was there, but Steele started it. Bork got the initial chance away. As he was getting hit, Steele was able to get that one on the pad.
Robo's not just a skilled player, he's a smart player. And a lot of times he lets and allows the other two people to do that kind of grunt work. And then he looks for that opening in the middle of the ice, wherever it may be, out higher, a little lower sometimes. And this was the exact result of that, because if it's not for Maverick coming out and grabbing that puck and then immediately trying to get it on net right away, what he does, Robo's standing right in the slot and there's nobody there.
Then after Luds, one problem I had tonight. Stars have taken too many penalties in the first period. It's set up so that instead of getting that 4-line rhythm going, the very, very good penalty kill has to go to work, which is fine. But I mean, all season they've been really a disciplined team. Lately, they've been getting themselves in trouble and having to not get that rhythm because they've had to kill penalties. They did it tonight. It was fine, but it's messing with their flow and getting any sort of momentum built up on that 5-on-5 game.
There's different types of penalties, and sometimes penalties are tired penalties. And I think we're at that point where, there's a couple times tonight guys are getting beat out of the corners and things like that, and they're chasing back to the net. Then they're having to take those kind of penalties. And I do think that there's some fatigue that's setting in, which is probably why they wanted to go with the 7D tonight and give a couple of them defensemen, especially a little bit of break. If they couldn't, they did. I mean, they accomplished what they were trying to do. But I think in general, sometimes, especially when you're going to be in the playoffs, you're not locked into a spot. You're not technically locked into the team that you're going to play. But sometimes there's a tendency to take your foot off the gas a little bit. And I think regardless if you're doing that or when you're tired, you don't think as fast as you should.
What do you think about that move? Okay, we're going to get to the rest of the goals here in the next segment and a half or so. But Luds, they went with Brendan Smith as the extra defender. He played defense tonight. I actually thought he played rather well, especially for having not played for a while. He had some snarl in his game, which you always need to see. But I'm just looking at the times. Lindell, 18:36 time on ice. And that's including 5:46 of shorthanded time, which means he only played 12 and a half minutes at even strength. Thomas Harley played 21 minutes, not 25, and 450 of that was on the power play. Those are not the hardest minutes out there. 15:27 to even strength. Are those the two that they were really trying to focus on, of trying to limit their minutes a bit tonight?
Oh, for sure. Essa just seems to never come off the ice when he's killing a penalty. And then Thomas, I think, is a little different. Essa's smart about his minutes. Like he doesn't get fatigued because he plays with his head and he doesn't let his legs take over his head. And so he's able to maintain position, and he knows when to put a little pressure on, when to stay back, when to get into a lane, and he makes the easy plays. Harley's a little bit different. He's a skater. He likes to get up the ice. He likes to join the play. He goes deep into the offensive zone. When you go deep into the offensive zone, generally you have to race back into your zone. A couple times you got beat tonight, but I think those definitely are the two guys that are going to benefit from the minutes. Now, what I noticed from Smith, and there's definitely rust there. I mean, this is his first, he's played one game in 5 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it may be. There was rust there. And there was that very first play when he turned the puck over, and his shift was about 32 seconds. And there was a whistle because Jake had to make a save, and he just skated right off the ice. He didn't look around, didn't do nothing. The other four guys were just standing there, and he just went off the ice. And then he did that. His first period, I don't think he had a shift over 2 minutes. Well, then there was a point he had like a 2-minute shift tonight, but it looked like he was either pissed off the way that he was handling things, or he was saying, I'm not in game shape and I'm going to play myself or get myself to feel better as the game moves along.
So you get a power play goal late in the period, and this is another reason why I said a few minutes ago I feel more comfortable about where we're at, because we have Rantanen to Robertson to Hintz to the back of the net. That's the trio. That's why you spent a couple first-round picks in Logan Stankoven, because you want to see Rantanen play the way he played tonight. Was this his best Dallas Stars game? Talk about the goal, Luds, but really, is this the best so far that we've seen from Rantanen, in which I believe, this is right. Okay. I can't remember what game it is. I was trying to look at it quickly, and of course, on the front of the stat sheet, it says it's the 73rd. I'll look it up, but Luds, how good was Rantanen tonight?
Pretty good. He's noticeable every time he's on the ice. I know every time that he's played in the game here in this jersey, we notice him, but we didn't notice him all the time doing the right things, being in the right areas of the ice, not hesitating. Now he just plays the game. So because those three guys are starting to get on the same page. This particular play, the play is really ultimately Hintz gets the goal, and it was made by him only because of the way that Rantanen moves it down to Robo. Robo's kind of sliding around the goal line. But if it's not for Hintz popping out and finding that passing lane, he doesn't score that goal. I mean, it was a tic-tac-toe goal, but you can see where they're on the same page, because Rantanen, when he goes down low like that, that's the signal that it's going down low. Now Hintz is in the slot. Now you're going to start to come out of there and find that hole, so that, because when players turn around defensively and see the puck go down low, they all turn their head to look down behind the net. And then Hintz sneaks out behind those guys, and Robo just gives them the perfect pass.
So that's his 11th game tonight. 11 games. It's not quite a month yet, and I think patience is starting to pay off. Up next, we'll talk about more of that, and then I'll show everybody again, because Luds didn't see that, what Ben wants him to do, but we're going to have to wait because he has a new read here on the DLLS Stars postgame show.
It's about time I get something to talk about, like a bar that I'm interested in. Over 40 TVs, a massive jumbo LED screen, 50 plus beers. Listen to that. 50 plus beers on tap and a game day atmosphere like no other. Basketball, arcade games, happiest hour is the go-to destination all tournament long. Big games call for bites and brews. Our team-size Happy-Tizers serve 4+, making them perfect shareable snack for you and your squad. Pair the pop-a-shot poppers with our beer tower for the ultimate game day grub while you cheer on your team. We had some of those poppers a couple nights ago. They were great.
Boy, were they.
The beer towers were much better, but the poppers were okay. A little spicy for me. Anyway, the madness reaches its peak with our championship game watch party on April 7th, where we'll crown the happiest bracket challenge champion with their grand prize and more giveaways for attendees. That's the happiest hour. Looking forward to introducing ourselves.
Maybe being invited.
Maybe would help.
It wouldn't hurt. All right, let's talk about Monarch Money. Finances can be messy and confusing, and Monarch Money acts like your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control so you can stop earning and start growing. It's more than your average budgeting app. Monarch Money is a complete financial command center for your accounts, investments, and goals. Don't just manage your money. Start building wealth with 50% off your first year for our listeners. Well, without a clear financial picture, financial dreams can feel out of reach. Monarch makes managing money simple, even for busy lives. With all your accounts, credit cards, and investments in one place, you'll always know where your money stands without the hassle. Track your spending, savings, and investments effortlessly so you can focus on what matters most, making your biggest life goals a reality. Get control of your overall finances with Monarch Money. Use code DLLS at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code DLLS. Okay, now it's time for us to do our sleeper leaderboard check-in, and then we will keep on rolling here. This is not updated with tonight's performance. I'm going to pat myself on the back because the Stars show has not been keeping up. Look at these above 500 numbers. Look at our Rangers show. Perfect so far. That's not going to last. But you know what is going to help us? Getting back in the win column. In tonight's pregame, I went with a 4-pick choice for our ticket. And thanks to Yanni Newman with his second shot on goal with about a minute to go in regulation, we hit on all 4. Robertson with more than 0.5 points. He did that early in the game with his first goal. Vince Dunn, less than 2.5 shots on goal. Done. Esselindell, less than 2.5 block shots. Boom. And then Neiman, I had for more than 1.5 shots on goal. And his last attempt, which Razor kind of said, boy, he really panicked and kind of flubbed that one on net. Didn't matter, Luds. It was on net. It counts. We win tonight. Whoopity-doo. Yep, here we go. Sorry, Sam. All right. So, Lud, second period, there was only one thing of note that I wanted to talk about. A couple of scoring chances, a couple high dangers, not many. The rookie from Switzerland gets his first career NHL fight. Liam Bichsel drops the gloves with Michael Eyssimont, and it doesn't last very long, and the size disparity really shows. It looked more like a wrestling takedown than a brawl. But what were your thoughts of Liam Bichsel finally dropping the mitts here at the NHL level?
Well, I think Eyssimont kind of baited, and I don't want to say baited him. I don't think he had a choice, to be honest with you, because Eyssimont was going there. So good on Liam because he needed to get, kind of baptized in that one. So it wasn't a fight. I mean, for the most part, it's not much of a fight. I don't think anybody landed anything. Liam threw a left that probably good it didn't connect because he may still be looking for his head rolling around the side of the boards. But, I think that it's been a long time coming for me because just the way that he plays, I've said this year, I want to see him jump in there. I want to see what he's got. I want him to start sending the message that, I'm not just the guy that hits guys and pushes guys away from the front of the net. If somebody wants to come knocking on the door, I'm going to answer it. So to me, that was immediately I went, good, about time. And I think, and I don't mean that in a negative way, about time, but I also think that now whoever you play in the playoffs, now you're seeing what he's able to do.
Well, Razor mentioned on the call, he said it will create more space for him that the opponents around the NHL know he's willing to do that. I know it's not much of a fight yet because it was so over so quickly, but does that at least do a little bit to say, hey, I'm not completely against dropping my gloves?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's already, like I said, that's the way he has to play with his size and his want to finish checks. That's already out there, but there's going to be a time when he runs into that guy that wants to drop the gloves immediately, and he has to drop them immediately. I mean, that's the only way you send a message, but it's got to be, he's got to be confident when he's doing it. You want him to be successful or a draw or whatever you want to call it. But I think that once everybody else that has been put up through the boards by him and maybe asked him to fight and it didn't happen, that's one thing. But now he's seen, and you know what they're going to say is Eastman. It's funny. I was just looking through some things before the game this afternoon, and Eastman's their leading penalty minute guy. I mean, I think, and he's only got 15 minutes. I think that's all it was.
And he wasn't even on their team at the start of the year. He was the trade deadline move as part of the deal. They sent Yanni Gourde to Tampa.
Yeah, so that's the only guy on that team. But now there'll be guys that can talk to him once he gets into this thing, and Jamie will probably be that guy. Whether he goes through the stat sheet and looks at numbers and fights and things like that from opponents that you're going to play against, he's got to be aware of that kind of stuff too.
So the Stars have a 2-1 lead after 2 periods of play. That was the Bischel moment. And they go on the power play, Luds. And this was quick. It was not a great goal against if you're Joey Decord. But I really like that after Jamie Benn had a tip play that went wide of the net, they worked it back through. Marchment gets it on the right circle. And it's good to see goals going in for Marchment because I really thought that he struggled coming back from that injury. I know he had the big face shield, then he switched to the visor and the lower jaw protector. He's starting to look a little bit more like what we saw pre-injury, and that goal will help that.
Yeah, and it's funny how when Matt Duchene gets the puck, regardless of how many guys are in front of the net, he can still find a way to get it through there. It was a smart play by Marchment because there's 2 defenders in front of the net, and as soon as he sees that Duchene's going to get control of that puck, he backs out of the pile. Now, is it a little fortunate that the puck made it over to him? It was, but again, if he stays there, he doesn't get any piece of that. And this is one of those kind of plays where you're kind of playing with the odds and going, man, if it gets through, I'm going to get a good scoring chance. If he doesn't, I'm still in a good position to help get it back. It gets through, and you're right, and Decord definitely wants that one back.
Then over the next stretch of the play in the third period, which was somewhere between because Marchment's goal came 28 seconds into the third. It was the next about 11 to 12 minutes. There were more Seattle chances than Dallas, but there were 3 high dangers, and Jake got them all. He stopped Jaden Schwartz, who did that deke, went to his backhand, and Jake was starting to follow to the far post, but he kept his left leg and pad up against that near post. That was a really good save because he easily could have had his momentum and inertia pull off and just have that tucked in. Then he stopped Asimon on a partial breakaway. He was where he needed to be. Asimon kind of flubbed it and went wide. Yeah. And then Burakovsky had a wrister in the slot. Jake stopped him. Burakovsky had a bunch of shots, but those 3 I really started because, again, I don't think this game was all about the goaltending, but boy, Jake was really solid tonight.
Yeah, there wasn't. Jake had, I don't want to say it was an easy game, but he was where he needed to be. He was effective. He was efficient. He read the plays the way he should. And it like I said, it was just like to me, it wasn't a great effort as the game was moving along from the Kraken.
If any of those high danger chances go in, though, it's at 3-1, 3-2. The crowd gets into it. Maybe you get a little life in your team. Stars have been sort of holding on a little bit, or at least that's what we were thinking about. The Marchment goal gave them some insurance to start the third period. That was really a timely power play goal. It was their second power play goal of the game. And then the Wyatt Johnston goal put this one to bed. I know this is nothing new, but every time Wyatt scores a goal like this, you just realize what a special talent he is. That forehand to backhand, slicing in with speed, thing of beauty.
He must have deceiving speed because we see him do this quite a bit. I mean, he doesn't look like a big player coming down the ice that you seem to have to worry about. Like, you're probably not going to get boxed out with him, but he has this second gear and a third gear. My problem was that from a defending standpoint, when Larson turns, he turns away from Wyatt. So he turns to the opposite side that Wyatt's coming in. He's coming down Larson's left side, and he turns to his right. If Larson turns to his left and stays in contact with Wyatt, at least I think you can maybe push him. You can slow him down a little bit. He turns the wrong way. He kind of stumbles a little bit. By then, Wyatt was already past him. And the quick hands that he has when he pulls it over and he just gets it up to the top of the net. It's just all effortless and fluid for him.
Rantanen got the primary assist on that as he set him free. Bischel got an assist, so he was really close, Luds, to the Gordie Howe hat trick.
We're going down. Here we're going.
We're going to talk about this next week because I actually looked this up a few days ago, and we'll have some trivia time on our daily pod next week about Gordie Howe hat tricks in the Dallas Stars. We'll get to that. I'll save it for tonight. But Mikko Rantanen, it's an empty net goal. He scored one of the prettier empty net goals you'll see. A lot of times, a guy gets a little bit of space, shoots it from center ice, boom. This, again, the size, the balance. Luddy, you talked about him being kind of like a ballet dancer with an edge rusher or linebacker physique. His ability to keep body control and still make those plays at his size and strength it never ceases to amaze me. That was a really pretty goal.
Yeah, the pirouette was like seamless. There was no hesitation. The most impressive part of that is, he's a big guy and he does that, but he just keeps control of the puck the whole time around there. And defender, and he uses his speed, and that's what he does. He uses his body to shield him off, and the little spinorama. Because I don't think anybody chasing somebody down for an empty netter is going to do the spinorama. Then generally they just get to that point and they throw it into the net and you kind of die. You're trying to get yourself ahead of them so you can get some kind of an opportunity to knock it down. And that's probably right when he recognizes, he's got half a length on me and I can just spin around, and he makes it look pretty easy.
He plays almost with this level of calm, which is, but he plays a violent game too. So to be so composed, yet so bruising, it's a combination you don't see a whole lot in the NHL.
Well, there's another pretty good player that I played against for a long time, a big guy, and his name was number 66. You remember that guy?
I've heard of him. Yeah, I've heard of that guy.
He was very similar. He used his.
He's talking about Mario Lemieux for all you young fans.
He used his body so good, and he would get that half a step on you, and then he would turn his back to you. And he long reach, he keep the puck away from you. There was no way to get to the puck. And the guys that had that skating ability and that size, they understand about using your body to keep the puck away from people. And that's exactly what Rantanen did tonight. Yeah, regardless if it's an empty or net or not, you're going to see him use that move again sometime, regular 5-on-5 or on the power play when there is a goaltender in the net.
I think that our fans, our viewers, our diehards, our super chatters, our general manager are dying to get to the super chats. We've got at least 12 already. We have 2 triple digits, and they've been clamoring, Luds, for us to get to them. I think it's finally time to let them have it here. Since it's 1 a.m., it's Stars way after dark. Are you ready to do this?
I was ready 2 segments ago.
All right. Well, we made them wait, right? Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
No, it makes them go away.
Let's do it next here on the DLLS Stars postgame show on a night where they clinched a spot in the Stanley Cup playoffs officially. Even though Luds isn't impressed, we've got much bigger fish to fry here on DLLS. It's my turn for a little doubleheader here. So let's start it off with Own Well. Well, property tax season is upon us here in Texas. Owning property, of course, comes with plenty of challenges, and overpaying for property taxes should not be on your list of things you have to deal with. You know what you do? You get Own Well. Sign up in under 3 minutes, and their team of local experts and cutting-edge technology can start saving you money with no upfront costs. How easy is it to sign up for Own Well? Super easy. You'll love how they do the work. You put property tax money back in your pocket in just minutes. They handle everything from start to finish and deliver top results. No upfront costs. Only pay if you save. I can tell you that local tax experts backed by cutting edge technology and best-in-class customer support helps save you money every year and stay updated throughout the process. Hundreds of thousands of happy customers, 5-star reviews all over the place. 86% of Ownwell's customers receive a reduction with an average customer savings of $1,100. The deadline to protest is May 15th for most counties. Save money on your property taxes with Ownwell. Sign up in less than 3 minutes and start your protest today at ownwell.com/DLLS. It's not Owen, it's Own, OWNWELL.com/DLLS. Now it's time to talk about Shady Rays. You should get ready for the season ahead. It was warm for late March. It topped out at least 80, maybe even higher today with some sun and some humidity and then some nice thunderstorms. Doesn't matter what it is. You need premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Get Shady Rays. They have hundreds of options to choose from. They have some of the most insane protection. Think about this. If you lose or break them, they will help you replace them for a fraction of the cost that you paid for in the first place. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com. Use the code DLLS for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Boom, Luds, it's super chat time. I know you're fired up. We actually had somebody, I don't know if I saw I want to say his name is Brock. He was in the chat. He said he's been a daily listener to the pod, but he found our YouTube channel for the first time. And he was hoping that you might still have the traffic cone. And I believe Ben said something in the chat of, boy, if you hit a super chat, that cone might show up again. So let's wait and see. Let's super chat it up. There's a couple that Katia might have to do something with, like a bing bong plus
Bing bong.
Milkshake of some kind, something special. But let's get it started.
Milkshakes.
There we go. Super chat time. Stars After Dark. Go at it. Go ahead, Kat. We have T Farmer to start with a Madonna and 99 Cup here. Jake is amazing. Doubters be damned. Time for sleep. R.I.P. the podcaster's bed.
Jake,
Bing bong.
We're just going to keep ping ponging. Go ahead, Luds.
No, I said Jake is looking comfortable. That's what we want to see. Comfortable and I think equals confident. I think he's feeling he's in control of what's happening now.
Yeah, and guess what? The win tonight is, let me just double check, make sure I said it right. Yep, 35 wins, Luds. He's tied with Andre Vasilevsky for the second most in the league. Probably not catching Hellebuck, who's just doing insane things for Winnipeg. But when you're in the top 3, top 2 in wins, you're doing something right.
So are the guys in front of you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a team effort for sure. All right, Kat, next one.
Bing
Let's go.
bong. Slutty milkshakes.
Man, that's better than I thought.
Is that, hey, Kat, there's more than one button you can push, by the way, okay?
Yeah, but she's doing that because, Luds, look at this one. It's $100.03. That's a 100 points and a Ludwig from I Love Misty 1985. Stars get to 100 points and clinch another postseason berth. We get a goal from every member of the not to line. That's what I call a successful night. Too bad Jordan said she won't be around to celebrate in the post game, but this super chat is dedicated to her. Boy, that's very kind of you, I Love Misty, both for us and for Jordan. Luds, I'm not sure I'm in on the not to line. The best I've heard so far for Robertson, Hintz, and Rantanen is the hockey-related revenue, right? HRR. It's their initials, their last name. Hockey-related revenue is what they pool in and then split 50-50 between the owners and the players, and there's escrow. I just don't have a catchy name for it. I like hockey-related revenue. Somebody's got to come up with a snappy version of that. But keep working. And here's the thing. Luds is very creative with this stuff. So if you could name a line, I bet you Luddy will do it.
I'll think about it.
You can see the wheels are turning. He's already going. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Bing bong.
I need a Miller Lite.
Oh, we're having fun now. Why is that? Michael Moore with a Madonna 99 Cup here. When looking back at the 2021 draft, if redone, would Seattle select Wyatt over Matty Beniers? Would you take Wyatt number 1? I don't see anyone in the top 10 I would take over him. Now, Luds, you're not a big fan of the redraft because it's completely unrealistic. But the Stars knew more than most about Wyatt Johnston, both based on where their scouting head, Joe McDonnell, their amateur scouting director, Rich Peverley, both based out of Ontario. They had seen him more. And then on the year of his draft, because the OHL didn't play coming out of COVID that year, they got a firsthand view of the few games he did play for Canada at the U18s. That was a huge advantage in scouting Wyatt Johnston.
I think that there was a GM a long, long time ago, and I played with him, and he had said to me, you ever get into this side of the game, the most important thing that you're going to do is hire people that are smarter than you and surround your people that are smart with, around you that are smarter than you. And I think that's what Jim Nill does, because when it came down to Wyatt, he made that one last call and it was asked about him, and he trusts the people that he talks to and the people that he hires. They've got a good track record, and all these players prove it.
Ooh, interesting. GM Ben said, I like the pirate line. R. I don't know where the A comes from. You've got Rantanen, Robertson, and Rope Hintz. Where's the A part for R?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just because Rantanen's got the RA.
Yeah, Rantanen.
Rant, Hintz, Robo. RA for Rantanen. I don't know. We don't know. Why am I trying to think
I don't think there's an A in there. I think it's just the letter R.
R. Rope. Well, yeah, it would be Rope, Robertson, Rand. Okay, maybe that's.
Where did you come up with the A, by the way?
Because he typed it in his chat. In the chat, he goes R.
He probably just typed it phonetically, but really, it's just.
That's a good point, Kat. By the way, Katia said she wasn't putting herself on camera tonight, but she will speak. So if you're watching and listening in at home, that's Kat. Say hi, Kat.
Hi, Kat.
Thank you. That was perfect. Okay, next
Bing
chat.
bang.
I love Misty 1985 because the other one wasn't enough at 100. Ludwig. Never mind, Jordan. She says she'll stay up. Hi, Jordan. So I love Misty. You can't get a refund on the $100 super chat, but you can add 3 to say hi to Jordan anyway. There you go. How about
Bing
that?
bang.
All right, next one. Patrick G with a DeSmith and a Rantanen.
Bing bang.
Okay.
By the way, Rantanen was fantastic. We've got Michael Moore with another Madonna 99 Cup year. Should we be concerned about the 30-plus shots a game besides easy money on the over saves for Stars goaltending and underdog? Or how about with maybe Sleeper, right? One of our sponsors. These shots don't seem to be phasing Jake. If anything, he plays better. Luds, you and I talked about this. The shot differentials have changed dramatically, but I'm looking at all these quality chances. There's not a ton of high dangers, right? You're shooting from the outside. Our goalies with the shot blocking and the goalies, they're not worried about that. Now, would you like to maybe give up a little bit less of that? Maybe not give up 40 shots a night? Yes.
I think that you need to tighten those up because it's not like a light switch. And if you're going to have Nichushkin and Makar and McKinnon and Natchez and these kind of guys shooting from good areas, it might be a little bit more difficult to handle at times.
Luds, it's not a super chat, but we've got a suggestion that instead of calling it the pirate line, and by the way, Ben said that he wrote it ARRR just to get me to say R. How about swashbucklers? That's not bad.
Why?
Because they're pirates. Right?
Why?
It's all the R's. Why? I don't know. Because swashbuckler sounds like a more fun name than the Pirates. Maybe. He's not impressed.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We'll come up with something.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, let's go to the next one.
Bing bang.
Finland!
We're having Kat is really starting to enjoy the things that John has uploaded into our audio. We have a Haskin in 99 from Stars 25 Cup year. Mikko's best game in victory green. Another game where Dallas is outshot and on full defensive mode in the third. Can't play that way against Colorado. I'm going to push back on that a little bit, Luds. When you have a 3-0 lead or 3-1 lead, 28 seconds into the third period, you don't have to take the game to the opponent. Now, you don't want to sit back too much, but I didn't think that Dallas was being hemmed in. I thought they were just a team that's probably feeling the fatigue of the season through 73 games and just going, you know what, guys, this was we have this one under control.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't. If you think that you can just kind of turn it on and off for different teams, I just think that you just want to button them. You look at the 2 or 3 teams that are rolling through right now. They're not just saying, we're not going to worry about it, And I understand Pete saying he goes, we have guys that don't need a lot of chances to score goals. That's not, and I agree with that. You don't, but like I said, you run into some better quality shooters, better quality units. You can't just say, okay, we better stop this now. You better have it in order when you go into the playoffs.
So I just want you to see, can you see on the screen the avatar picture for Stars 25 Cup year tonight? It's an otter and a moose in Stars gear.
Yeah.
Every night there's something different. Gotta love AI. All right, let's go to the next one.
Bing bang.
Finland!
Oh, she's enjoying that one. Talk hockey with me. This is Jordan, who was my table mate at Cosm on Wednesday. Well, you guys were chirping, you and Kat were making fun of each other, Luds. Jordan and I were talking big, serious hockey things. 3 points for Mikko. This is the DeSmith and 99 Cup year. So glad he's a star. Go Stars. I think the Dallas Stars fans were really excited when he was traded to Dallas. And then after a couple of games where he had a couple points, then it was a little quiet, a little rough, and people are going, I don't know. But now they're starting to feel a little bit better about this big-time acquisition.
Yeah. And I think most importantly, he's feeling better about himself and who he's playing with, and not just those 2 guys, the power play, the room, and everything else, which is important because, Rantanen is known for being a playoff player, which is where you want guys to be the big-time players. And so if he's feeling comfortable with the group of guys, it's only going to bode well for the rest of the guys once they get into playoffs.
Hey, Luddy, I have a quick side note here. Allie just posted in the chat. Remember, it's 1:12 a.m. on her chat. So it's almost 1:15 Central. She's near Edmonton, so that's 12:15. Here's what Allie put in the chat. I'm just getting into my vehicle to head to a friend's. Time out. I want to read the rest of it because it's funny. Heading to a friend's after midnight, huh? No judgment here. My CarPlay kicked in just at the Finland drop, and it was hilarious and loud. Can you imagine plugging your phone in and our show kicks on right when we hear Finland? Gotta love it.
I heard enough.
You're going to hear it again because we got more super chats.
Bing bang.
Believe that they are going to crush these guys tonight.
Oh, look at that one. How about that? Stars 25 Cup here with a Haskin 99. Honorable mention to Big Leon Bischel dropping the gloves. A bit of a dud, but never seen someone ragdoll a player like that. Luds, you probably have seen somebody get tossed off their skates before, but there was a definite size and reach advantage for young Leon.
Yeah, and he's a big boy, so he's gonna throw a few guys around if he starts doing this. There's not a lot of guys the same size as him, in the league. So he's got that going for him, and he's gonna toss a few guys around the ice, I think.
All right, let's go to one
Bing
more.
bang.
We have Noah Reed with a Madonna and 99 Cup here. Is it not promising that the Stars are finding ways to score consistently during bad/tight games, opposed to goals coming easily and frequently before things tighten down in the playoffs? Is that a positive spin or a silver lining to this, Luds? Is they're finding ways to get results even if they're not looking like they're playing their best hockey?
Yeah, it is. But again, you're not playing the Winnipeg Jets or the Colorado Avalanche every single night. You're getting kind of a mishmash of teams, and so yeah. I mean, it's not like the sky is falling concerning, but I would like to see them get to where they control a game beginning to end.
We have at least 4 more super chats for our next segment, and we're going to keep doing that. Luds, you might want to go find that traffic cone because Brock figured out the super chat, sort of. I'll explain next here on DLLS. Oh boy, do we have some things to tell you about here as being a diehard. Look at that. That's where I am right now. That's the QR code at the bottom of the screen. Scan that. If you're listening to our post-game show later on our audio platform, just go to alldls.com. Yeah, Luds has already discussed it with himself. No, I know where he's going. So that sends you onto the page to be a diehard. If you want to be a diehard, there's so many great perks. Let's talk about events. We have a golf tournament coming up in April, Stevens Park Golf Course. It's a 9 a.m. shotgun start. There is a continental breakfast before. You get range balls to warm up, full 18 holes with cart. You can sign up as an individual, a foursome. There's a buffet lunch afterwards, contests and raffles and prizes during. You can golf with some of your favorite DLS hosts. I've already been spoken for. Luds has already been spoken for. But if you go to the DLS website, click on events, Sean Shapiro from our show is currently available. There will be other celebrities from DLS added over the next week or two. Sponsor a hole. There's all sorts of great things that you can do to be a part of our first ever golf tournament. That's not it, though. Sign up to be a diehard. You get a free t-shirt with your first year of signing up. How about the new Finnish Mafia t-shirt that is now available? Look at that. It looks amazing. Maybe it becomes the Swashbucklers Finnish Mafia shirt. Maybe it's the R shirt. Maybe it's just that. Boy, Kat really loves that drop. That is on pre-order. I've already ordered. It has not arrived yet. You know what else is available? The Rangers just dropped a couple of new shirts. So if you want to use that for your free t-shirt, or maybe you want to get the Finland one and then just buy a couple more, you get 20% off of merchandise as well for being a diehard. Plus, you have access to the diehard Discord, and that is chaos incarnate. It's like our chat, but through the game and the day and night. It's wonderful. It's hard to keep up with, but there are mentions, so you can find at least things where people are talking about you or trying to say something to you. All of that and more. Be a diehard. It is wonderful. Look at that.
Oh my God.
We've got a moosin on the loose. It's not the traffic cone, but it might be better. Luds, let's do some more super chats here because we have a hard out at 60 minutes. There's no overtime tonight here on the Stars After Dark postgame show. All
Bing
right,
bang.
just a regular old bing bong, Luds. Burned Oils with a Lundqvist and a Lindell. After the power play troubles, all the pucks to the faces, missing Sagi for most of the season, then Miro falling down. I'm so proud of this team clinching. That's the biggest point, Luds. We all knew that this day, as we watched this unfold in the back half of the season, it was going to happen. They're going to make the playoffs. They're not fighting in the wild card, in and out, that heart attack every day, anxiety-riddled part of the standings. But to overcome all the things that they dealt with and be this good of a team, 100 points with 9 games to go, pretty darn good.
You can look back on the adversity that this team went through, losing players, how they lost players, how they fought back, the injuries, Tyler fighting his way back, Miro hopefully fighting his way back. And that can galvanize a group when you get close to the playoffs.
Let's go to the next
Bing
one.
bang.
Slutty milkshakes.
Oh, that means it's a big one. Whoa.
Oh.
Michael Moore. He took I Love Misty's and put another 99. So it's a Smith Cup year, a decimal, and another Cup year. How about this from Michael? Can we talk about how everyone wanted to trade Jason Robertson earlier in the year? I mean, this guy has an outside shot at 40 goals on Miro's skating. This is another thing on Miro skating. Is this a physical or mental thing now he has to overcome in order to come back? How do you think the guys in the locker room felt hearing about Miro? Now, these are all things we addressed in the pregame show, but for this super chat, Luds, let's rehash a little bit. Jason Robertson part we didn't talk about in the pregame. There were some people that were really down on him with his slow start. We talked about him not having a decent offseason because of his injury, had the procedure to have that cyst removed on his foot. He did not have the proper offseason training, and he said it was a really difficult mental challenge to try to stay positive when he wasn't being able to perform and play the way he's used to. It wasn't working. It wasn't happening for him. And that's the first time in the NHL it's really been that difficult for him.
Yeah. Like I said, all these guys with adversity, and as far as Miro, I think they just need him back. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody's feeling sorry for him. If anything they do is they rally around him. But you know, the biggest thing for him, and we said it in the pregame show, the biggest thing for Miro is his skating ability, and that's, you know, so it's obviously his knee. They're not going to rush him back until he's as close to ready as he feels comfortable with. And he's a huge part of this team, and I think that, you know, the way that Miro defends with it, you know, to be able to hold gaps in the best players in the league, and especially the McKinnons and the McCarrs and McDavids and guys like that, not many players can do that. So this group, they know that they need him back, and I think that's only going to help Miro feel a little bit more comfortable, you know, getting back in the lineup because of those guys.
I believe it is probably more of a physical challenge at this point for Miro than mental, right? Yeah. I know there's always you've got to be able to tell yourself that you can push and it's not going to hurt you, but this is not one of those ones where he was playing with a nagging injury. He had a sudden instant injury. He had a procedure and now he's rehabbing. So he'll go through stages of testing out. I don't think he's going to have a problem, Luds, once he gets on the ice, of being confident in his strength. It's just a question of, you know, getting to the stage where he's ready to go.
Yeah, and he's going to have to, when he does come back, I think he's got to get through that first game. He's got to get through the first period, and then he's got to get through the game, and then you put one more game on top of it, and he's going to say, I'm back.
I'm trying hard to take you seriously with those antlers on.
Oh, my Musketeer.
Your Musketeers. How about Musketeers?
I said that 2 weeks ago. I was telling my kids about that. We had a little party over the other day, and we were talking about it. It's funny because you're talking about all these R names and stuff like that.
That's right.
We were kicking it around yesterday, and so I'm like, God, man, I don't know. I said it sounds good, but then I'm sure everybody's going to think it's stupid, so I'm not even going to bring it up. And now I just brought it up.
I don't hate Musketeers. It's kind of funny. By the way, let's keep that hat on, because Brock G, I believe, is our next super chat. Let's see if there it is. This was the new YouTube viewer who has been listening to our show regularly on the audio platform, who wanted to see if you still had the traffic cone. But I think the moose antlers are better.
I do have the traffic cone. It's sitting outside.
There you go. But hey, you got the moose antlers. That's very, very good. All right, let's go to the next one.
Bing bang.
Musketeers. Talk hockey with me. Jordan, just saying hi to new diehard Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie.
Bing bang.
Cat's firing it through now.
That's okay. We've got a limited amount of time left. Michael Moore, as if it wasn't enough, did a DeSmith and 99 Cup here. How about the rated R's or the flying moose bots?
No.
If you wanted to go in the rated R themes, they should be the NC-17s, but that sounds inappropriate. It's a movie thing. It's a more adult rating than R movies, but not to the ones you're thinking. It's the in between.
Bing bong.
Bloody milkshakes.
Exactly.
Bing bang.
That's funny. I like that. We've got I Love Misty 1985 with another one. That's a hat trick for I Love Misty. I'm not wearing a hat. Luds is wearing antlers. So wave the antlers, Luds. Give it a little wiggle or something. Ludwig and Pavelski. Wyatt's ex-landlord helped with his success. Kat, we need the bell sound. It's a ding. And we'll accept it whenever you can find it, if you can even find it. There it is. Look at that. I knew she could. All right, we have one more. Well, I thought we had one more. Another one came in. But we have the next one. It's from GM Ben. It's a DeSmith 99 because Ben apparently can't get off his wallet, Luds. Tonight's 3 stars. 3 Owen, 2 Luds, 1 Cat. I won't argue about the number 1 star tonight. What a job to come in here. And she's done our show a few times now, but not
to handle the keyboard like that.
I know. Especially when it's not the usual system, the setup in the office, where it's a lot easier. John always talks about how much more difficult it is to produce remotely like this. So she's doing a fantastic job and snappy on those super chats.
I'm dying laughing at.
Oh, go ahead, Kat. Sorry.
I was going to say, I'm dying laughing at the way John labeled all of this.
That makes sense to him, but to no one else.
Yeah, I had to play some for you guys to be like, what is this?
By the way, when she said I'm dying laughing and there was a slight pause, I fully anticipated that, Kat, you were going to say at those moose antlers, because I'm still laughing at them.
Speaking of
It was
antlers,
not what I was expecting.
I thought the cone was coming back.
I didn't
No.
even think he was coming back at all.
Well, there's that too. That's a 50-50.
have we heard from Sambone tonight at all?
Earlier today, I bet you he's probably night getting
Oh.
some rest. He should. He wasn't feeling great today. So, Sam, feel better.
Bing
We wish you
bang.
well. We have another super chat, Luds. It is Stars 25 Cup year with another Modano and 99.
I have more bing bongs. I'm going for a Miller Lite. I'm telling you.
Oh, there's a couple people were asking you for that earlier. Saw Segi and pregame skate picks. What do you expect him to get game time? Win, excuse me. P.S. Tonight's profile pick is Otter and Wyatt. I don't know what animal to do, so I figured a goat was the most fitting. You know what, Luds? The more you look at it, it does look a bit like a goat. It's just a very tall goat.
Which one? Me?
Picture, no, on the screen.
Oh.
I thought it was a
that
moose, but it's actually a goat. It's just too small to see.
Oh, it is. Okay.
When do we expect game time for Sagan? We talked about this the other day. He seems like he's getting awful close, but I know that the team keeps saying temper your expectations. I don't think we're going to see a couple weeks of Tyler Sagan, do we? Are you?
I think that if Tyler can get 2 games in, something like that. I know you say 1 game, but I think you need to. I think it would be nice to get a couple games in, and then you're gonna feel something after the first game. And then you'd be able to kind of navigate through that. And if you get 1 more in, luckily you kind of move right on and say, okay, I got this down. But to have 1 game and then not really completely understand where you're at with your hips, it'd be tougher for him. But we'll take game 1 in the playoffs if we have to.
Luds, this is not a super chat, but Allie just responded to our joke about her heading off to a friend's at past midnight in Alberta Mountain Time. She wrote this in the chat. Owen's joke about me makes me want a slutty milkshake t-shirt.
Andrew's listening. I think that's the next thing on the docket.
I think it is, because you had moose mode on Thursday night. That was a brilliant shirt that you had. I think the slutty milkshake should be in the next staple, and it will make everybody jealous of it. All right. We have 120 seconds left of our show, so we can't do super chats until 3 a.m. Luds, they play the same.
3 a.m. Oh, I thought maybe we had to come back at 3 a.m.
No. We don't. We actually have tomorrow off, but we will do a pregame show at the same time, 9 o'clock, right? No, I think it's a half hour earlier on Monday. I think it might actually be
9 o'clock game.
Right. So 8:30 pregame, 9 o'clock puck drop. So that 30 minutes will matter. Stars and Kraken round 3, but second in 3 days. What do you think, Luds? Recovery day tomorrow, and what are we going to see on Monday?
I don't know, but Sabrina just sent something out. She said Andrew's sleeping, but I'm on it.
Is she working on the notebook? There it is right here. Look at this.
There you go.
I've got it covered. She's writing in the notebook. We're
Yeah.
going to get a slutty milkshake t-shirt at some point soon. I love it. You guys are the best. Thank you. I got to meet Sabrina at Cosm on Wednesday. It was wonderful because I keep hearing about her, and I met Andrew in the studio early on, but this will be fun. Speaking of sleeping, Luds, I know you're not a big fan of it, but I think it's probably time for us to call it a night. Yeah?
Okay.
All right. Well, for Luds, well, you should be upside down, like Ozzy Osbourne just hanging, or Keith Richards or something, right? So you can't be killed by conventional weapons.
Luds has 20 minutes to get somewhere for last call.
Oh, there you go.
Kat sounds like she's already sleeping.
She just mentioned last call. Well, that'll do it for us tonight because we are done. The Stars have officially clinched a playoff spot. They have 9 more games to try to track down the Winnipeg Jets. Will they do it? We'll find out. We'll be there for it. For Craig, the Moosin Ludwig, and Kat, our phenomenal Katia producer, I'm Owen Newkirk. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for staying up with us. Stars win right here on DLLS. Good night.